Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this how to play video, I'm going to take a look at Bomb Warrior. Yeah, Bomb Warrior may be a little bit forgotten in the current meta, but it's still a very strong deck and I had a lot of fun playing it. This list is from Vicious Syndicate, and I have to say that I do like this list a lot. It reminds a lot of my old lists. It's an Elec build, I like Elec builds a lot. And it's a very aggressive take on the archetype. So obviously what Bomb Warrior does, it shuffles bombs into the opponent's deck. Shuffle a bomb into your opponent's deck. When drawn it explodes for 5 damage. Clockwork Goblin can shuffle bombs. Wrench Caliber can shuffle bombs. Elec can double the number of bombs that are being shuffled. So on a superficial level it looks like, okay, Bomb Warrior is going to be a great thing, because there are lots of Highlander decks around right now. And you shuffle some bombs in their deck and their Zephrys becomes inactive. Unfortunately, in my experience with the deck, actually that has not happened nearly as much as I would like. So getting 2 bombs into the deck and getting those 2 bombs to stay in the opponent's deck is not a very simple feat. So Highlander decks tend to be able to use all of their Highlander synergy cards. Sorry, that's not the way this deck wins games, but it still does win games. Those bombs add a level of damage, and there are some pretty high drawing decks in the game too. There's stuff like Holy Rat Paladins and there's Quest Druids. There are decks that really draw through the deck very quickly, and then those bombs become even more of a threat. And other than the bombs, this deck is fairly minion heavy, so it has quite a few threats, so that you can keep pressuring the opponent. You start it all out with some Eternium Rovers or Town Criers, preferably Town Criers. Town Criers tutor for your rush minions. There are 2 copies of Restless Mummy and there's Celiax in this deck. So you have these early minions, you also have Frightened Flunky in here generating some taunts. So you get board on 1, ideally on 2, maybe also on 3. Just playing stuff on curve, being threatening. Basically playing fairly much a mid-range deck. A fairly slow mid-range deck is probably the best way to think about this deck. You're being the aggressor in some matchups, but you can also play the control role, and you're a little bit slow, so you're going to have to play the control role a lot as well. Luckily you have lots of removal. You have the Devastators, you have the Warpaths, you have the Brawls, you have the Dynomatics, and then there's the full taunt package with the Armageddillos and Tomb Wardens. So when you get some taunt buffs, then those taunt minions can also be fairly significant threats for the matchups where you're being the aggressor. And of course there's Blastmaster Boom, so you can get a bunch of boom bots on the board. Another major threat. And Dr. Boom Mad Genius, because if you're ever playing a warrior deck that's a little bit on the slow side, well, Dr. Boom is just an infinite value engine. Obviously this deck has to give up on something in order to be threatening, and it gives up on stuff like shield blocks and shield slams. So you really don't have quite as much removal as a full-on control warrior does. But as long as you have the Brawls and the Warpaths and the Dynomatics, that's already a pretty good package, especially for a meta where board flooding is fairly common. So lots of opponents want to go wide, and you have all the tools that a Control Warrior does to fight against wide boards. And unlike Control Warrior, because you have the bombs, you actually have the damage also to finish off games. As for the mulligans with this deck, you're generally looking for your 1 and 2 drops. Eternium Rover, Town Crier, Frightened Flunky, these are the main cards that you're mulliganing for. Then the rest depends a bit more on the matchup, like if you're expecting your opponent to go wide, Warpath, Brawl, Dynomatic, great tools. Or if you really want to get some damage going, some bombs going, Augmented Elec, Clockwork Goblin, Wrench Caliber. If you find some combination of these, they can be attractive to keep. Note that the deck does not run anything like Elysiana. This is clearly not a fatigue deck, and so with this slightly more aggressive approach overall, I tend to not keep Dr. Boom Mad Genius in the mulligan anymore, because I just want to be much more proactive right from the start of the game. If you enjoy this content, then please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more. And now, let's go take a look at Bomb Warrior in action. So can I actually beat the Control Warrior now? If it's Highlander or aggro, then I should be fine. Well, let's go and find out. Elysiana is not an option, which means that I'm going to be aggressive. I have only one game plan. It's control, and that is to be aggressive in this matchup.
This place is scary.
Scary, very scary. Huh. Infested Goblin. Not a great tree drop. Maybe the card is the most powerful of these. That's definitely a control warrior. Oh boy, oh boy. But I don't want to play the Elec out there. Just like this. I think it's turning over and hero power here. He can rush down 2 of these, like if he has the mummy, he can rush down the flank and he can rush down the Eternium Rover. He would not have been able to rush down an Elec, but I think I want the double bombs. I get rid of a shield slam, and that's something. That is good. Just gonna play the Restless Mummy out there. I mean, he could have a Dino Medic. He would kill these nicely and leave the 3/1 mummy on the board. Which I agree is a little awkward, but that still leaves the most power on the board that I can muster right now. Oh, there's a Clockwork Goblin. So if I coin these out, I still can't get a boom next turn. He might just brawl. I still think I go for it. Elec and the Goblin. Let's shuffle the double bombs into the deck. But he is going to respond with a brawl, right? I mean, he could Warpath, but Warpath would leave the Elec alive. So I assume it's going to be a brawl in response if he has one. Top deck brawl, best kind of brawl. Should still usually leave 2 minions, because the mummy has reborn. So I keep pushing, of course. Don't want to get that Ziliax out there. No, Carded Defender is fine. Just keep getting reborns. If he doesn't throw bombs, then turn 7 is probably Blastmaster Boom. Armadillo is pretty decent. Blastmaster Boom comes with 4 boom bots. I need everything to trade into the Armadillo. And then I need everything to trade into the Armadillo. I push there and then I play the Blastmaster. Let's get the 4 boom bots out there. Boom bots are damage. So in case he now has the Tomb Warden, then, well, damage coming. He could have like something like Warpath plus. Well, he can't double Warpath into Dino Medic, but he could Warpath into Restless Mummy to clear up everything. That would work. And now he has a Rush minion, but he's contemplating. Okay, it's going to be the Warpath into Mummy. No, it can't be Warpath into Mummy, of course. It has to be something else. 5 mana. Well, it can still be the Mummy. It can still be the Mummy. Warpath into Mummy to clear. Painful. But that happened. Omega Devastator. I think I want the Clockwork Goblin out there. But I just saw the Mummy. I think I'm magnetizing Ziliax on that. We got a 6/5 with Divine Shield on the board. Nice. Hey, I see a card. Is Tree Speaker good to add to a budget tempo root deck? No, Tree Speaker is not a very powerful. Tree Speaker simply isn't very powerful at all. I don't think it should be added to any deck. The problem is that when you turn your treants into 5/5s, They cannot do anything after that. Everything on this board is a mech. I don't have mechs that my Armadillo would buff. Next turn he can use Omega Devastators. Plenty of problems there. I think I just need to go with this line. Now it looks like I'm running out of pressure here. Because now he got to 10 mana first. He can have Omega Devastators. Those can just wreak havoc on this board. So it's very difficult for me to get anything done. And I have to be the one who is applying pressure. So I need some quality draws. Snip, snap, boom. He got the snip, snap and I didn't. What do you think about wildcards coming back to standard? I think it's awesome. If he has an Omega Devastator too, oh boy. He had a really great hand. It's good that he wasted some snip snaps though. That's at least a minor upside. I make my day. But I just can't do this. Just a little bit off here. I just don't have enough pressure now. I need a big draw in order to get back to the pressure, but it looks like it's not happening. Elysiana is cut from Bomb Warriors nowadays because Control Warrior is so rare. I would play with a different strategy if I had included Elysiana in the deck, if I believed that Control Warrior was still being played. I mean, it is played, but not very much. But I just couldn't apply enough pressure.
What now?
I won't be able to draw enough to get initiative back. And Dinomedics are dead cards now.
Unity.
The only hope is that he doesn't... Oh, come on, he did have the Celiax. The only hope was that he wouldn't also have Celiax in addition to every other card in the game. But of course he did. Alright, time to roll high. Satisfactory high rollage. I've seen one Warpath, one Brawl. There's still one of each left, so he could, like Warpath, clear this. I've seen all of the Rush minions probably now. 2 Mummies and Celiax. Oh. Oh, the Super Collider. Of course there was. Ha. Yeah. And I have no more Rush minions in the deck, so Towncrier doesn't even draw anything. Playing the Kaboom bot here. Probably need to play the Kaboom bot here. But I'm really out of ways to pressure the Warrior. Is there a way for me to still win this? I mean, if I can get Boom significantly before he gets his Boom, then yeah, I guess that would be a way. That could work. But these draws are not making my life any easier. Oh boy, oh boy. He has a Tomb Warden left. He has obviously the Elysiana. He has a Warpath and he has a Brawl. And he has the Super Collider equipped. Oh. His Armadillo actually buffed both Tomb Wardens and Celiax. What can I even get that would help? He has spent both Shield Slams. So what if I make a big Snip Snap? I suppose a big Snip Snap is the best I can do here. Because I've seen both Shield Slams. But I don't want to give him Super Collider value. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Also, this deck is no longer tuned for beating Control Warriors. Snipper obviously is not getting through anything as such, but is this enough? Do I need more warpaths? I could hit there. I could have Snip Snap leave at 1 health. I mean, he can have a warpath, of course. Push this down to 3. If I push this down to 3 and I get a range caliber, yeah, I need to push it down to 3. Snip Snap kills one of those. I get a board full of 1/1 tokens, but by now he might have found the second warpath. Has used 1 warpath, 1 brawl. This board does not require a brawl. You could easily use a warpath here. With the flunk it, that might actually mean that I have first time I can actually get value from the Dino Medic. Let's see if that's going to happen. Oh. Dr. Boom is so good. I'm just going to trade 3 into the mech. I want to get rid of that mech. And then I want to play the Dr. Boom. Okay. So far so good. I'm a bit low on the bomb damage. I still play it because so many quest shamans. Yeah, it's fine against quest shaman, absolutely. 8. That's 10 non-mech held on the board. So double Dino Medic kills that board. But then I can't use my hero power to create more mechs. But is the tempo effect useful enough? That would be exact clear with the double Dino Medic. I think it's worth it.
Light the fuses, light the fuses.
These are going phase. I mean, he still has a brawl and a warpath left, and by this point he probably has found them as well. So I think he will be able to clean this up. Then there's the question of that Elysiana. Whether I can... I mean, if I can put in bombs into his deck when I have board pressure, then that's awesome. If I can't do that, then life is going to be a little bit more difficult. If I can put bombs in the deck and I have board pressure, he can't afford to play Elysiana. That's a pretty sweet Tomb Warden pickup. But I don't think I want to commit more stuff on this board right now. I want to get the pressure going so that Elysiana will be difficult to play. Trade. Yeah, that means trade here. Hero power there. Play the Elec, play the Wrench Caliber, kill the mech, shuffle 2 bombs into the deck and push 3 to the face with the tokens. Like this. So now I have board presence, which means that Elysiana is a bit difficult to play here. And there are some bombs in the deck. But I need to maintain pressure. I mean, he could actually play Elysiana because he has enough health. But players tend to be averse to playing Elysiana in a position like this. I lose the brawl again. That's when you lose all the brawls. And there is still the warpath available to him. 4 bombs in the deck. Time to get my Tomb Warden out there. And summon like this so that if he just were to hit with Super Collider into a Tomb Warden, it could hit into a 1/1. We want to get some bombs to his face. We want to keep pressure up so that he wouldn't be able to play Elysiana easily. He has 5 real cards left in the deck. Unfortunately, he found the Warpath, which gives him an easy clear. And I would have to maintain pressure or he can play Elysiana. So I'd need to top deck Flunky or Tomb Warden in this position to maintain pressure. Otherwise he can just play the Elysiana perfectly safely. I need this to kill the Elysiana. It's not enough pressure by itself, so I can't use that here. He will play the Elysiana now and he will get rid of 3 bombs in the deck. Then I will Omega Devastate the Elysiana. Okay, no Elysiana. Good. Tomb Warden pickup. Good. Can't get the Mortuary Machine out there. I mean, I can't give his minions Reborn, right? No, I just can't. He has mechs and they have Rush. He has a Devastator left. He has the Dynomedics left. I just can't keep them all Reborn. So none of these are very good. Need to just play the Tomb Warden out there. Try to keep up the pressure. Which deck tracker do you use? I use Hearthstone deck tracker, the one from HS Replay.
Okay then. Your patronage is not welcome here.
That was a very strange way of playing this game. He now has half of his deck is bombs. I just need to keep up the assault. I've seen both Warpaths. I've seen both Brawls. It's Omega Assemblies and the mechs from those that are things that he can actually do. So we're killing that one. I'm Wrench Calibering this one. I could have also put 3 to the face with the Wrench Caliber. If I've traded with this. Perhaps that would have been better. Now we got some bombs into the deck. And he's in a position where playing Elysiana, okay, it gets rid of 4 bombs. Does he dare to do it? I mean, I have only 15 damage here, so I guess he will. Wait, what? You do realize that your deck is full of bombs, right? Okay. Does he get good mechs? There's no Warpaths, there's no Brawls left. It's a decent mech. So he's at 15, 4. I mean, I have to go all in, right? He will still need to draw. There's going to be 2 bombs and 1 other card in his deck. So he would have to play Elysiana next turn. Just to survive. Oh boy. I think I will trade there though. So if he doesn't draw 2 bombs, if he draws 2 bombs, he's obviously dead. He didn't draw 2 bombs, but he also can't play Elysiana. He needed to draw the real card and leave both bombs into the deck. Because he plays Elysiana and he's dead. Well, that was a surprising turn of events. I really thought he was going to survive. So Elysiana was literally the last card in his deck. Okay, not keeping a Mummy, and I do keep the Double Town Crier. So Double Town Crier should be able to draw me 2 cards. Let's go. The opponent kept everything. That's always a little scary. Coining something out makes me think it's aggro. It's Aggro Warrior, alright? Okay, so we're up against an Aggro Warrior. I have a Celiax. I have a Mummy. He wants to be very aggro. Cool. So I probably do need to kill this one. I mean, I have the option to Warpath and then double trade. Because next turn I get the Restless Mummy. I think that's fine. Let's Warpath and double trade those away. Get rid of everything on this board for the time being. I have 2 rush minions in hand. At 3 mana, he can't really work wonders. That is pretty good though. Can he magnetize something on it? Not very likely. I don't want to Restless Mummy into it though. I'll answer with a 3/6 of my own. It's unlikely that he would have silence effects in that deck. 3/6 challenges is 2/3. Oh, he wants to give me some armor. That's cool, I like armor. I'm a huge fan of armor. Armor is one of my favorite things.
Unity, precision, perfection.
I'm gonna kill off his stuff here, while healing up a little bit. But this could still be a Highlander Warrior, so he could have some late game. He could have some late game cards in that deck. And that Darius is a telltale sign that this is in fact a Highlander Warrior. So the game is not over. He is not pure aggro, he's not all about just going in quickly. He can also play a slower game. With this hand I think it's worth it to play an Elec there and armor up a little bit. First name could have much better and trade in 7-2. I didn't feel that they would have been better. I still don't think they would have been better, I think the play was fine. Ultras equipped. I think I'm now playing the full control role here. Let's see what he has to give. He has a bunch of cards left, so there's Zephrys obviously in that deck. Zephrys can give him like Tyrion. There are various other tokens and tools. And there's Zephrys. And he's looking for a big card from Zephrys, right? I have the option to simply Warpath this board down. That will give him a bunch of armor. That Zephrys card, that's a Tyrion, right? I think it's going to be a Tyrion. I think Warpath is fine here. We'll give him 6 armor, but we get rid of these minions here. Still have enough mana to armor up a little bit. So that card is probably Tyrion, I think, because Zephrys was played on an empty board. Used all his mana to make Zephrys give him cards for next turn, which makes Zephrys give Tyrion. It's going to be 15 damage from the weapon. There might be ways to upgrade the weapon for him. That's a little awkward, but it's not disastrous. Because I have this plan to kill Tyrion. So at least I get rid of the Sultras, so it's technically it's just 11 damage at the moment. There could be an upgrade in this deck, which would turn this into a 6/4. That would be dangerous. So this is now drawing Siamat. I'm surprised by the board control strategy here. I thought he would have been going face. Well, well. Let's see what I can pick up from the assembly. I think Hecklebot is a little dangerous to play against a deck that has stuff like Grom in it. Although I do have an Omega Devastator here. So even if I pull the Grom, does it really matter? But there is a Siamat in hand. I think I could also just put in a couple of bombs into his deck. That's probably good enough for the time being. Let's put a couple of bombs into the deck. In case I happen to find like a Blastmaster Boom. So now he has the Siamat that he tutored. But I'm ready to deal with that. Should be okay. So never sure Clockwork Orange to prevent Zephrys. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. Toby Guy, how's the deck performing? I won every game so far. Cassia boy, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine, thanks. And I expected him to play Siamat as a major threat. But I happen to have an answer to it. And I do need to answer it, right? Yeah, I can't just afford to play Dr. Boom here. So I unfortunately have to face tank 6 in order to devastate the Siamat. Get the Demolisher out there. Armor up a little bit. So we have almost exhausted the Tyrion damage. We've seen the Siamat, we've seen the Zephrys. There's obviously Grom left. And Grom is a big deal. Because if Grom sticks and he can mercenary the Grom, then that's obviously phenomenal. Has there been any word about more Highlander synergy cards? No, and I sure hope there won't be any. That would be crazy. Okay, this approach. So this probably requires me to brawl. I could Hecklebot brawl, but that would be a risk. Brawl, and even if I lose I can just Restless Mummy. He gets to put some bombs into my deck, but that deck doesn't run Blastmaster Boom. So a couple of bombs in my deck aren't that scary. That 13 damage on the board is pretty scary though. I guess I have to brawl now. And I need to use the Restless Mummy to finish off whatever survives. Unless I win the brawl myself. Which is always a great option. I highly recommend winning your brawls. That just makes life so much easier. So there's no Blastmaster Boom in that deck, so individual bombs in my deck aren't a big deal at all. And this would be the time to play Dr. Boom Mad Genius. So there's Grom. Grom is the main threat remaining. Grom and Inner Rage. He found both of those pieces. Good for him. That way he can deal some damage to me. Too bad I can't Armadillo and kill the Grom. No, killing Grom costs 6 mana. Not enough left afterwards to Armadillo. Any cheaper way to kill Grom? No.
No tomb can hold me.
No. I do need to kill the Grom. And I think I can afford to play a Frightened Flunky out there. Just get something between the two of us. Bonus Tomb Warden. Not half bad. We'll grab that. Now, if he loses some tempo, if these cards are not allowing him to keep up the tempo, that means that I get a great Armadillo here, which will then transfer nicely into huge taunt minions. And that is exactly what happened. No need for me to put another bomb into his deck at the moment. So Scrap Hound or more Tomb Wardens. I think more Tomb Wardens is fine. Then the Armageddillo. That buffs up 3 Tomb Wardens. So from this point on I should no longer take damage from anything except for those 2 bombs in my deck, and then he should have nothing that he can do. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.